Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The House of Representatives has warned of citizens' revolt if the federal government fails to address insecurity in the country, which has been on the uprising in the last few weeks. Senate President Godswill Akpabio told his colleagues that the insecurity and poor state of the nation's economy are stretching the patience and resilience of Nigerians to the limit and asked them to respond with legislative actions. Lawmakers from areas ravaged by insurgency and killings by herdsmen in the country, who led a debate on the issue at plenary, also accused the presidency of not doing enough to resolve the insecurity problem in the country, despite the over 19.7 trillion naira spent on security. Senator representing Kano South, Ismaila Kawu, has defected from the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP) to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). The letter of his defection was read by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio during plenary. Ramsin Enoch Abo has the details.
President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio congratulated Kawu for taking the decision to join the ruling party, describing the move as a bold and brilliant step. Akpabio also encouraged his colleagues from other political parties to join the APC to move the country forward in the interest of Nigerians.
My decision to bid goodbye to the NNPP is anchored on compelling and undeniable developments within the party, which have rendered the party severely divided and dysfunctional. Over the past months, I have observed a growing number of litigations that have practically torn the party apart. Therefore, in the spirit of democratic accountability and in line with my constitutional right, I have moved to the All Progressives Congress.
Raising a point of order, Senator Kawu says the reason for his defection includes numerous court cases plaguing the party, thereby creating division among members.
Three cogent region, which I want, and I am sending it to true lovers of democracy, more particularly my constituents. It is a constitutional representation. I am representing people, and they are looking up to me to bring something better and to do something better. Three areas. So all politics is local. As we start this work here in June 2003, I have almost 5 motions, which are to do with the interest of Kano people, Nigeria, and of course my constituents.
Kawu called on the Senate President to ensure the notification is entered into the Senate's record for necessary legislative action. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Imo State Police Command has demoted a Sergeant Anayo Ikeze for assaulting a road traveler using smoke gunner along Owerri-Aba Expressway. The command also announced the reprimand of 2 police inspectors, Ofem Obonga and Obinna Okereke, for failing to exercise supervisory control during the incident which occurred along Owerri-Aba Highway. Police spokesperson for Imo State Command, DSP Henry Okoye, disclosed this. The Labour Party has launched a disciplinary investigation into former National Chairman Julius Abure as part of sweeping reforms following a Supreme Court ruling that upheld his removal from office. A newly constituted disciplinary committee chaired by Senator Ireti Kingibe has been tasked with investigating serious allegations against Abure, including corruption, forgery, perjury, and criminal conspiracy. Samuel Odi completes the story.
The disciplinary committee is expected to submit its findings and recommendations to party's National Executive Council within 21 days. At a press briefing in Abuja, Chairman National Caretaker Committee of the party, Senator Nana Dia Usman, said Abure has been given 48 hours to respond to the charges before further action is taken. She described his continued claim to the chairmanship as impersonation and announced that all decisions made by him during the dispute period has been nullified.
So, pursuant to the powers vested in the National Executive Council under Article 19 of the Labour Party Constitution 1999 as amended, and in response to grave allegations bordering on corruption, financial misappropriation, and anti-party activities leveled against the erstwhile national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, the leadership of the party hereby constitutes a disciplinary committee to thoroughly investigate the said matters and recommend appropriate disciplinary measures. The composition. Number 1, Senator Ireti Kingibe, the chairman. 2, High Chief Peter Ame, secretary, member.
The caretaker committee also passed a vote of confidence in Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti, praising their continued support for party unity. Members were urged to rally behind the new leadership and prepare for a nationwide membership revalidation exercise. Usman called for unity and internal democracy, saying the Labour Party is moving forward with renewed focus and commitment to a better Nigeria. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
Wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commissioned a 100-bed mother and child center in our Omama Oru East local government area of Imo State. Represented by the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shatima, the First Lady's visit is part of the federal government's drive to improve maternal and child health care under the Sustainable Development Goals program. Amarachi Ibe reports.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, continues to champion the welfare of women and children across the country. In Imo State, her name now graces a new 100-bed mother and child center, built in our Mama under the SDG initiative. Representing the First Lady at the commissioning was Hajia Nana Shatima, wife of the Vice President, who emphasized the center's importance in addressing maternal and child health challenges in rural communities.
We must continue to emphasize the vital importance of maternal health care in building a healthier society. I therefore urge our women and members of this community to take this advantage of the services available at this mother and child center. I also charge you to take ownership of this center. It is for your benefits and the welfare of your children.
Speaking at the event, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says the naming of the center after the First Lady is a tribute to her tireless service to women and vulnerable groups nationwide. He added that the facility aligns with ongoing state-led health reforms, including the renovation of 305 primary health centers in collaboration with the World Bank, deployment of mobile clinic, and revitalization of general hospitals and teaching institutions across Imo State.
Our administration is deeply committed to reducing maternal and child mortality linked to inadequate facilities and healthcare access. This new hospital directly supports that mission and expands the reach of modern healthcare in our state. Having personally visited the site ahead of this event, I can attest that this hospital was delivered to specification, equipped with modern medical technology, and ready to serve.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Olarope, explained that the project is one of the several initiatives being implemented across Nigeria under the Sustainable Development Goal 3, which focuses on good health and well-being.
and promises made by your reliable, responsible, and responsive President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, who believes that no woman should die or no child should die when giving birth. Women is vessel of life and should be protected and preserved.
With the commissioning of the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Mother and Child Center, Our Mama becomes a critical part of Imo's growing health infrastructure dedicated to safe motherhood and child survival. From Our Mama in Oru East Local Government Area, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has warned against the covert establishment of a one-party system in Nigeria, cautioning that such a move could destabilize the nation's fragile democracy. Speaking at a memorial lecture held in honor of the late elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark in Abuja, Jonathan emphasized the dangers of political manipulation aimed at sidelining opposition parties. The former president noted that while countries like Tanzania practice one-party system, it was properly planned for, stressing that Nigeria's complex ethnic, religious, and political landscape necessitates a more inclusive political framework. The Benue state government has condemned the act of what is described as a calculated campaign of sponsored protest and misinformation allegedly aimed at destabilizing the state and discrediting the administration of Governor Hyacinth Alia. Addressing the media, the chief press secretary to the governor, Teso Kula, said the recent protests held in Abuja, supposedly in the interest of Benue citizens, were orchestrated by disgruntled political actors with the aim of manipulating public opinion and triggering a state of emergency. Correspondent Felicity Ndere has the details.
Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Benue State, Sir Teson Kula, accused the organizers of attempting to weaponize the legal profession, alleging that ex-convicts were paraded as lawyers and while unregistered groups submitted false and offensive petition to the National Assembly. He described the action as a direct assault on the integrity of the legal system and called on the Nigerian Bar Association to act swiftly against impersonators and unethical practices.
These demonstrations are not organic expressions of public sentiments, but rather calculated attempts by disgruntled elements to settle personal scores and advance a malicious agenda. These individuals, driven by a desperate desire to paint Benue in the worst possible light, appear to believe that by doing so, they can somehow force the hand of President Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Benue State. This misguided notion stems from a deep-seated aversion to positive change and a yearning for a return to a discredited status quo. Their ultimate goal, it seems, is to create an environment of chaos and instability, allowing them to exploit the situation for their own selfish gains as usual. They are driven by desperate desire to remove Governor Hyacinth Alia from office, but they will not succeed. The people of Benue State are united in their support for their governor.
Reaffirming the government's commitment to peace, development, and good governance, Kula stressed that no amount of propaganda will deviate the administration's vision for a better Benue.
The traditional ruler of Karshi Chiefdom in Abuja, His Royal Highness Alhaji Ismaila Muhammad, has called for urgent constitutional reforms to grant the Federal Capital Territory FCT greater senatorial representation and additional area councils. He urged that despite the FCT's large population and vast landmass, its political representation remains nominal and inadequate. The monarch made the call in Abuja during the inauguration of a radio and television studio, a new digital broadcasting platform set up to promote civic engagement, democracy, and human rights. Retired military generals have again called on the federal government to urgently equip the Nigerian armed forces amidst growing concerns over resurgence of terrorist attacks and killings in the northeast. This comes as the House of Representatives expressed deep concerns over a recent deadly attack on a military facility in Giwa, Borno State, describing the incident as a glaring indicator that Boko Haram insurgents are better armed than the military. During the plenary, the lawmakers lamented the gradual return of terrorist groups and the loss of lives in recent times in Borno and neighboring Yobe states. You are watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Senate approves 2 out of 4 bills. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of the break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now we go to the business news. The Nigerian Senate has approved 2 out of 4 key tax reforms, marking a major step in the ongoing overhaul of Nigerian tax administration system. The bills passed include 1 to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act and another to establish both the Joint Revenue Board and the Nigerian Revenue Service. Ramsey Enoch Abo has the details.
The tax reform bills were adopted after detailed review and a third reading on the Senate floor. Presenting the committee report, Senator Sani Musa, chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, emphasized that the tax reform legislation is vital for President Bola Tinubu's vision of growing Nigeria's economy to $1 trillion by 2030. He stressed the importance of creating laws that are practical, beneficial, and enduring beyond the current administration, reflecting the true needs of Nigerians.
Recommendation on the tax administration bill, which is one of the areas that have generated a lot of controversies. We have addressed that, and what we did with that recommendation will be taking 10% from the VAT distribution. We did not amend the present VAT structure. We left it at 7.5% instead of increasing it as was recommended. So in that structure, we said 10% of that collection will be for the federal government, 55% of that collection will go to the state government and the federal capital territory, and 35% to the local governments.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed confidence that the reforms will improve governance and transform the way taxes are collected and distributed nationwide.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13, 2007, and then enact the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act to establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, charged with the powers of assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the government and for related matters 2025, third reading taken and passed.
Akpabio assured that the remaining 2 bills would be concluded the next day, even if it requires extended sitting hours. Ramsey Enoch Abo reporting for Global TV News.
Now moving to the foreign scene, India says 16 people, including 3 women and 5 children, have died due to Pakistani fire since Wednesday morning. The earlier death toll was 15. India said that Pakistan has increased the intensity of unprovoked firing across the line of control, the factor border that divides Kashmir between India and Pakistan. It's also said Islamabad was using mortars and heavy caliber artilleries in areas Kupurara, Baramulla, Uri, Punch, Medla, and Harijuri sectors in Jammu and Kashmir, and that the Indian Army has responded to halt this mortar and artillery fire. The Iran-aligned Houthis in Yemen, Houthi, says a ceasefire deal between the group and the United States does not include sparing Israel from operations, suggesting that shipping attacks that disrupted global trade will not come to a complete halt. President Trump announced that the U.S. will stop bombing the Iran-aligned Houthis in Yemen, saying that the Iran-aligned group had agreed to stop interrupting important shipping lanes in the Middle East. And now in sport, Osigu Goodness scored the only goal from the penalty spot as Edo Queens beat Unification FC of Lagos 1-0 at the Dipo Dino Stadium, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, to advance to the semi-finals of the Federation Cup. Edo Queens were the dominant side, but the youthful Lagos team defended deep in their own half to foil the attack of the Benin team. However, the breakthrough came at the 85th minute for the Benin team. Osigu hit a shot which hit the hand of the Unification defender, and the referee wasted no time in pointing the penalty shot, which Osigu scored without hassle. Football Australia Chief Executive James Johnson has resigned after 5 years and a half in the job. The national governing body said, having played a key part in bringing the Women's World Cup to the countries, Johnson's surprise decision to stand down comes less than a year before Australia hosts the Women's Asian Cup. And that is it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you for watching.